Everyone. I wasn't going to do a market insight this week because of the holiday, the Thanksgiving holiday here in the US. I've been down in Florida visiting my sister, and I'm back now. This is Tuesday morning, the 28th. And as I said, I wasn't going to do a market insight, but market's kind of interesting here at an interesting point, so I thought I would do a very brief one. And we'll skip the monthly, just going right to the weekly here. And on the weekly, we're potentially seeing the robust rally we've had here over the past few weeks. Slow up here in this price area. We can see to the left that, let's get a highlighter here. See to the left that there's some significant supply, or resistance rather, that occurred in the first half of September, and now we're approaching that. So the market's going to be working through that this week and maybe into next. And note that last week the range narrowed and the volume dropped off quite a bit. Part of this is due to the holiday, but it's still a week showing, still a weekly bar showing some lack of demand. And that's natural as we come into resistance. So let's shift over to that's sort of the big picture. Let's shift over to the daily. And we can see the market stalling at that September high around 45.6. But look, the background is very bullish. We've got strength in the price action. Notice all these strong up bars going up, right? As we pull back in resistance, we're seeing narrow ranges, volume tailing off. The up waves are dominant here. That should be clear. And although we're stalling up in here a little bit, there's no significant supply, at least at this point, right? But we are in the area of resistance. So the question here becomes, does the market absorb and move upward towards the 634 level, which is the July high, the high we painted this past July? And that's our next resistance level and target, right? Or do we react a little bit deeper? So as we approach the September resistance here, last Monday, this is November 20th of last week here, 20th. We can see that good, strong price bar, but the volume is tailing off. There's the 20th right there. It's getting less and less. The volume's tailing off and showing less demand than we had seen earlier on the rise. And the market attempted to overcome the resistance, good spread, but the decrease in volume it suggests a lack of demand up there. Wednesday, a couple of days later, we see an increase in volume, good spread, but the day closes all off the highs and just underneath the September resistance. So supply is coming in there, or you can think of it as effort to go up and some supply coming in, preventing the market from moving higher. The next bar was Friday, actually. We skipped the Thanksgiving holiday, and this was the day after Thanksgiving. Typically a light volume day, but nevertheless, we see very narrow range, very light volume compared to anything else on the chart. You have to chalk that up to no demand, right? Now, yesterday, let's erase here so that we're clear. So yesterday, starting this week, we see an increase in volume, and this volume is similar to the volume that we saw on the 20th, right? And yet, yesterday was a down day with a relatively narrow range, a sharp contrast, if you will, to the prior Monday here, the 20th. So some supplies come into the market, and not significant at this stage, but still present. So we could see over the next days, the market comes down to the 45-40 area, into this area here, and find support around that level. And that would support more the absorption idea here. And that's potentially, and that has real potential because we also have a crisscross here, right? We have resistance and then support. So kind of a mini access line, if you will, or what David used to call a crisscross setup in the market. So the market could hold here and then rally on up towards 36, 34. But if we break that support, if we break 45, 40, and that's possible, we're coming out of the trend channel, and this has been a robust rally without much of a reaction. So we could see that, right? And if we break 45, 40, then the obvious next level would be 4,500 area, potentially a little bit lower, maybe as far down as 44.85, but that's getting way ahead of ourselves. We're not there yet, and there's no evidence that there's an increase in supply coming in. So we could see the potential of them wanting to test the vertical acceleration area in here. So it could potentially come down a little bit lower. But for now, what I'm thinking about, and for this week, I'm thinking about resistance around 45.80, last Wednesday's high, maybe up to 85, 45.85 area. You could see resistance in there, and that could act, and we could bounce from 45.40 all the way up to 45.80 and then back down again. If we're in a more protracted absorption kind of idea. So resistance 45.80 and a half up to 45.85 area, and then support initially at 45.40, and then if that fails to hold, down to 4,500. So that's my brief review for this week. If you celebrated Thanksgiving, I hope you had a great holiday. We sure did. I'll see you Thursday night, the 30th here this week for deep practice. Everyone take care. Bye-bye now.